Alright, what's up? We're going to look at more Commander spoilers. I'm not really sure how long the spoiler season lasts. I think it might only be 1 week, which would mean this is the last day, which would mean these are all the cards. So we'll do full, sorted by spoiler date. And yeah, let's take the plunge. It looks like 227 cards, and there's 302 cards. So the spoilers aren't over yet. Maybe there's one more week. But we'll get caught up. Ob Nixilis from Battle for Zendikar, sure. He's your guy. Here's the emblem he comes with. Yeah, this card's fine. Gyre Reach Sanitarium. Yeah, okay. I forgot about this card, but that looks like a card. Overseer of the Damned. Another commander reprint. This battlefield may destroy target creature. Whenever an opponent draws, you get a zombie. Sure, it's some good stuff. The fact that it kills something and you get a zombie right away means that this is typically going to be 7 power for 7 mana, 5 of it flying. Not bad. And then we'll get some more zombies, I suppose. Chaos Warp, a Commander classic. I think has only been in Commander. Is that right? Yeah, it's only a Commander card. I guess it's not something they really want Red to be doing too often, because it's like kind of unconditional removal. Of course, you can get them something all the worse, but hopefully you're targeting something much above the average devastation of a permanent in their deck, and they're going to be swapping their Nicol Bolas for a Plains or something. Not sure why they're running both Nicol Bolas and Plains, but whatever. This also hits commanders quite nicely. They don't have an option to put it back in the command zone. It just goes right into the deck, so good luck getting it again. And the fact that it's shuffle then reveal means that, for better or worse, neither person can manipulate what's on top. It's quite the card. I think it's quite powerful. I don't think it's ever seen play in Legacy, though. Like, it's not quite there. Legacy would just rather do other stuff. Cool card, a really classic reprint. One of the first cards that had this sort of persistence. Yeah, can be used for a lot of stuff. Beacon of Unrest. This is part of a cycle way back in 5th Dawn, where it did something and then it shuffled back in, so conceivably you could do it again. Sure. It's not bad. That's like not a super terrible price to do something like that. Flare of the Hatebound. Oh, I can remember this guy. Sure. Another just red creature that does a little, but maybe not all that much. Undying is always super strong, though. Warstorm Surge, sure. Some badass art. This art looks like it's from Kaldheim, the Viking plane. And since it's never been in a standard legal set, it's not clear where in the story it takes place. So this could easily be a Kaldheim card. Yeah, the Immerstrom. Yeah, it's definitely Kaldheim. Cool. Ooh, Solemn Simulacrum. Sad Robot. An absolute staple of many decks over many periods. This, of course, being the iconic art. The invitational art, where they make it look like the winner of this major tournament that then designed the card. They don't do that anymore. Now it just looks like some guy, but whatever. Yeah, this is an extremely strong card. It may not look like it, but the fact that it is only generic mana, that you get a land right away, and then when it dies, it gives you a card. It's just so much value. Doom's Necromancer. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's pretty cheap. Sure, Buyer of Misery. It's just the standard Edict effect. The fact that it's each opponent is quite relevant. The fact that you can also sacrifice an enchantment is kind of interesting. I think for the most part that's like a nerf to this card versus a typical Edict effect, which just makes you sacrifice a creature. Typically you're going to have enchantments that are more useless than your most useless creature, I would think, in a situation where you have some enchantments at all. Or I don't know. There's probably some decks that this absolutely hoses, that all it wants to do is like slam Omniscience. And oh, surprise, get mired in misery. Should have made some Mana Dork at some point. Neat. Boneyard Parlay. Sure, it's like a pirate thing. Alright. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Necromancy Factor Fiction. Bone Miser. Whenever you discard a card, create a black 2/2 black zombie creature token. When you discard a land card, add black. When you discard a non-creature, non-land card, draw a card. Okay, so this is a lot like Waste Not, which was a community design card that I thought had a pretty sweet design. It's exactly Waste Not. It's just Waste Not on a guy. Waste Not, it saw play. People tried it. They tried their best with it. Because it seems like it just does so much stuff that it should be possible to get some kind of crazy engine going. Oh, but there's one big difference. And this makes this one so much better. Waste Not is opponent's discarding. This is you discarding. Oh, now this has potential. This has quite a lot of potential. If you just start churning through non-creature, non-land cards, drawing every time you discard, filling up your graveyard with perhaps useful things later, you don't blank on lands, really, because you still get to add mana, which then you can use to keep the few card draw instants and sorceries and stuff in your hand. Ooh, this feels like it has potential. This feels like it has a lot of potential. If Bridge from Below is still around, this could definitely get really messy really fast. But I think there's still enough engines and such. Yeah, I don't know. This is quite interesting. You can tell that they were a little worried because it's 5 mana. I mean, the stats are pretty great for 5 mana, sure. It's definitely going to dodge most removal. But they could have easily made this like another enchantment, like just a reverse Waste Not. They could have made it like a cheap creature, like a lot of the sort of zombie type oracle type cards, you know, are usually like 2-drops that have some crazy effect like this, but then they're very fragile. Instead, they made it expensive, so that in case this is actually a crazy strong engine, it takes a while to get online. This is one that I'd like to see in Modern. I think Legacy, it's not good enough. I would be shocked if it was good enough for Legacy. But Modern, maybe. Wouldn't that be a cool deck? No, it would actually probably just inherently be busted, but whatever. Hate Mirage, choose up to 2 target creatures you don't control. For each of those creatures, create a token that is a copy of those creatures. Oh, okay, that's kind of fun. Yeah. This could be a big blowout, a huge swing back. Yeah, alright. Neat flavor. Ooh, a new Phoenix, sure. A commander-based Phoenix. I foresee this being very annoying to people. I foresee this being a huge pain in the butt that everyone hates, but I don't know. It's flavorful. It does Phoenix stuff. Flying, when it dies, it doesn't die. What was that card? Red Phoenix. When it dies, it doesn't die. Flies too. Idol of Oblivion. Draw a card, activate this ability only if you created a token this turn. Ooh, now that's very cute. Because normally, this is like insane. This is insane value. 2 mana, draw a card every turn. Like, what? Like, this is beyond Howling Mind. This is beyond Dark Confidant. So you also need to create a token every turn. Now that's not impossible either. There's stuff that populates every turn. There's stuff that will just pop out a guy every turn. So there are combos that make this an extremely valuable thing. And then what's going on here? Sacrifice Idol of Oblivion for 8 mana, create a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. Really interesting stuff. Flavor Fleet, I am so interested. It looks like a scene in early Zendikar, like pre-Rise of the Eldrazi Zendikar. You can see like kind of a hedron-shaped hole behind it. So if you don't know, this is one of my favorite parts of the lore in all of Magic. I just think this is so cool. That Zendikar was ravaged by the Eldrazi like a long time ago. And then they were able to be sealed away, of course, by like Ugin and Nahari and Sorin. Maybe somebody else, I don't remember. But the people of Zendikar like kept this vague cultural memory, and slowly the 3 Eldrazi titans became the gods of their religion. And they even looked kind of similar, and they had similar sounding names. So for the first few sets of Zendikar, you were like introduced to these gods and to the religion that followed them, and then you found out this like terrible, terrible truth. That the gods were insane, Eldrazi, eldritch monsters beyond our comprehension, and caring not about our trials and tribulations, but just wiping us flat from the globe. Ooh, isn't that good? Isn't that good? just that feeling of corruption, and that the gods aren't going to save you because these are the gods. Oh. Let me see if I can remember. I think it's called like Hand of Kozilek. This? Maybe that's not what it's called. Shoot. Here. I know how to find it. True face of the divine. Yeah. Hand of Emrakul. I believed in a beautiful god, but this is the true face of the divine. Isn't that like some of just this whole lore, conceptually, I think is so cool. Anyways, yeah, alright, this is neat. So this is the type of tokens they're looking for, is you have a bunch of Eldrazi spawn generators. That's what keeps this thing going until it's time to become the big boy. Alright, I love it. I love this card in all sorts of ways. I don't know how strong it is. Nowhere near strong enough for Legacy, which I guess is the only question I really have to ask. Nightmare Unmaking. Exile each creature with power greater than the number of cards in your hand. Exile each creature with power less than the number of cards in your hand. Alright, that's fun. It's a board wipe that you can make quite conditional if you kind of play everything right. What the heck is this? I think I sneezed on my shirt and forgot. Sorry, that was gross. There's just something on my shirt. Yeah, alright. Neat. Greven Predator Captain. So this is Greven Ilvek, right? How's that guy's name? Yeah, Commander Greven Ilvek. So the Predator flagship was chasing after the Weatherlight. All the good guys were on the Weatherlight and all the bad guys were on the Predator, basically. A fun little adventure. So he had a card already. It looks bad by today's standards. Who knows, back in Tempest, this was maybe a big deal. But what does he do now? Menace, which is kind of like the updated version of Fear. It's +X+0, where X is the amount of life you've lost this turn. Ooh, now that's exciting. Whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw cards equal to that creature's power, and you lose life equal to that creature's toughness. Sweet! So this fuels, of course, the first ability that fills your hand up with cards. You could be playing some sort of burn-type deck. You could be playing the craziest burn-type deck ever where you start burning yourself. I guess it doesn't really matter. Either way, they're taking 3 damage. Either because Greven is 3 stronger or because you just bolted their face. But wouldn't that be the most badass thing ever? To just burn yourself away, sacrificing your army, burning yourself some more with the cards you've drawn, and then swinging in with a gigantic Greven, and then, like, ousting it. Alright, cool card. A nice counterpart to Gerard, whatever. They have, like, a similar background. Aeon Engine. There's the battlefield type. Ooh. Alright. That's a lot of fun. Paradox, we were worried about that yesterday. Oh, that's so much fun. So much fun to be had here. I mean, on the one hand, I'm like a little disappointed because it does nothing in 1v1 games, which is what I'm most interested in. But, yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. I'm sure everyone on the table will suddenly have an opinion about whether or not they want this to resolve. The person who played immediately before you, of course, basically getting a pseudo time walk out of this. So they're going to be like thumbs up. But then the person who's usually going to play after you, but now has to wait around an entire other rotation, big thumbs down. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Cool art, too. Lots of stuff going on here. Big Game Hunter. This guy's been around before. Seems like a cool card. The madness is super sweet. What else we got? Curse of Fool's Wisdom, another curse. Another chain creator draws a card, they lose 2 life and you gain 2 life. Wow. And then a Curse with Madness. Very, very cool. Very flavorful. Leads to some very exciting plays. Now, there's like the Curse Tutor deck. I'm not going to bother trying to remember what all the cards were, how it works, but it essentially allows you to just keep... It's like, there's a card called like Curse of Curses. And once you curse them with that, you just tutor up curses and plunk it on there over and over again. which I always thought was a card that like someday might be busted if they keep just doing curses here and there. Someday, eventually, you'll hit a line. And this one seems pretty good. Maybe not good enough to actually work in that deck, because it's a little slow. And if I recall, the way that deck works is that it's more about locking them out of doing stuff with curses, rather than just, like, draining their life with curses, and not really in stopping them from doing anything. But I don't know, it's interesting. Some very spooky art. Ooh, a new Chainer! This guy, okay, so I never really was super into Chainer as a character. Here we see him before. He just kind of looks goofy. He's got these like steampunk goggles and this goatee. But the name Chainer, I always thought was really cool. And back in my like imagined lore of like JRPGs I wanted to make as a kid, which of course I can go on and on about for hours. There was a prominent character named Chainer. But I don't know. Anyways, so a new Chainer. Again, we look at this. Doesn't really seem that exciting. I mean, this is pretty sweet. You know, that's a pretty big downside, but it does get continual resurrection of stuff, so that's alright. And this is kind of cool, you know, because it buffs everything that you reanimate. But what does the new Chainer do? Discard a card, you may cast a creature card from your graveyard this turn. Ooh, alright, cool. So you can discard the creature that you want to cast, just for kicks, I suppose, but obviously you're going to not want to be doing that. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under control, if you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste until end of turn. So that's kind of nice too. It's not that it goes away. It's not like it's only here for one turn, as a lot of these haste-granting reanimation things do, like Yoro's Vengeance. But it's here forever, and just gets to attack right away. It's pretty cheap too. The problem is that usually you're trying to reanimate things because it's a lot cheaper to reanimate something than it is to cast it from your hand. Whereas here it's just the same price. So you're really more just using this to get back creatures that already died, which is quite useful, and to take advantage of the fact that it's often much, much easier to fill your graveyard than it is to fill your hand. So yeah, there's still potential there. It's unlikely that this is going to lead to truly explosive things. It's just going to lead to lots of good value plays. But yeah, it's neat. I like it. It's like Hydra's whipping around him. Grimoire of the Dead, an Innistrad reprint. Right card, put a counter on it. Sack it. Ah, alright, that's fun. That's fun. Very, very flavorful. Such a fun adventure, getting it online. Hoping the payoff's going to be good enough once you do. I think any game where this resolves is going to be quite exciting. Hedonist Trove, exile cards from target opponent's graveyard. You can cast lands exiled from it. Okay, alright, sure. So it's kind of like you hope that the lands you pull from their graveyard are enough that you can play cards in their color. Because often in a situation like this, it says you can spend mana as if it were mana of any color to cast that stuff, which is nice. Here, though, I guess it makes up for it with this idea that you can scoop up the lands. This is a fun little scene it's depicting. I think this is Silumgar. He's going to eat this guy's head. Yeah, I don't know. It seems quite weak. Like, what if they just don't have that much stuff in their graveyard? What if they don't have any lands in their graveyard, and then you just have a bunch of stuff that you can't cast because you don't have those colors, right? And even if they have lands in the graveyard, they're probably going to be fetch lands. So what are you supposed to fetch for? You're only going to be able to fetch for your own colors anyways. So this is good, I guess, on the color mirror. Well, not good, but something. Yeah, it seems weak. Not surprising it's 19 cents. Online Salty Boy. It's definitely supreme demon of Astria, but whatever. Online Salty Boy. Whenever a source controlled by an opponent deals damage to Online Salty Boy, that controller loses that much life unless they sacrifice that many permanents. Yeah, okay, alright. This doesn't seem that great. You compare this to Phyrexian Obliterator. And where they don't even get the option to pay life. Because usually paying life is better than sacking permanents. Best case scenario, you're paying this for 5, 6/6 flyer. Well, I guess that's quite strong. Yeah, I don't know. It's a neat card. Wildfire Devils. Enters the battlefield. Beginning of your upkeep, choose a player at random. Player exiles an instant sorcery card from the graveyard. Copy that card. You may cast a copy without paying the mana cost. Sure, that's a lot of fun. So the player gets to choose which one to exile. So if you manage to hit yourself, obviously you're going to choose your most expensive, useful card. If you choose them, they're going to choose like some, I don't know, some cheapo cantrip or something. But you're never going to get nothing, so that's nice. And if they're ever in a situation where you run them out of all their cheapo cards, and then suddenly you're casting their big stuff. I don't know what big stuff, but people like to cast big stuff. People love to cast big stuff for free. So yeah, that's good. Thrag Corn? Thragcorn? No, it's Thragtusk. The new corn-themed Thragtusk. Sure. Beast Within, a classic. Horrendous new art. Sure. I kind of like the classic here. It's not really certain what's going on, but yeah, it's a good card. Momentous Fall. They it wasn't long before the elves had developed a use for every part of the Eldrazi. Wow. Creepy. You get to eat the Eldrazi? Is that an option? I never even thought about that. Is that flavor text? Yeah, I guess it was in there too. I forgot about that, but sure. Yeah. Flavor-wise, this is kind of weird because it looks like they killed the Eldrazi, whereas here you're like sacrificing the Eldrazi. But the rest of the story makes sense. And can be quite a powerful effect. This can draw you like a ton of cards. And of course, because it's at instant speed, you do it in a situation where that guy's going to die anyways or whatever. Fine. Planes. Ooh, I love this card. I love this card. So I had like taken a break from Magic for a while. And while I took a break, they introduced Mythic Rares. So once I was kind of getting interested in Magic again, I'm not really sure what led me to do so. I was going back and looking at all the Mythic Rares. And I remember seeing this guy like fairly early on for whatever reason. And just being like, oh, this card is so cool. It's like flavorful. It starts getting you like crazy value later, even though it can come down on turn 1 and just be like sitting there. You guys ready for dragons? I'm telling you, the dragons are coming. You gotta believe me, the dragons are coming. And I mean, I don't think it's that strong because you just get 1 dragon per turn. It's only really going to happen late game. It doesn't like it has haste or anything. This, of course, is like the most fragile dude imaginable, but it's so cool. I just think it's so cool. Maybe it's okay. Like, it's worth a decent amount of money, but I think these people also just think it's so cool. Mimic Vat, another classic. Just get stuff, get it again. Just keep spamming it. Sort of a Splinter Twin sort of thing. Second Harvest. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like doubling season, but just once. And not for counters either. Alright, sure. Forest. That's a nice forest. Ooh, that's a nice forest. Ooh, that's a nice island. Ooh, is this like underwater? La la. Mountain. Sure. Hey, those are mountains. Whatever. Ooh, isn't that idyllic? Okay, I'll tell you something I love about landscape shots. Any landscape shot that does this, I'm probably going to love. Foreground flowers. Midground water. Background mountains. Boom, boom, boom. City, not necessary. It's a little rocky outcroppings. Yeah, that's okay. But it's just the 1, 2, 3. Flowers, close up, in focus. Water in mid-range, looking kind of endless. And then somewhere from there, ideally like reflected in the water, big, big mountains. Ooh. Ooh, it's just chills every time. It feels like somehow the whole structure of my life is unfolding before me when I see this. Alright, let's keep going. Swamp. Aww, they got stuck in the swamp. Windscarred Crag, alright. The cliffs, the life gain ones. These are actually alright. These get played in Pauper a lot. Because it's like pretty much impossible to get an untapped land in Pauper. Why is this an uncommon? When this, which is strictly... Yeah, this is strictly better. Right? Right? Whatever. Stick Monastery. Tri-lands. Sure. Count and find more grains. Kicked a heap of sand. Seems unnecessary. Oh, there's sand in my eyes. How do you expect me to count at all? Alright, bounce lands, sure. A guild gate, sure. Ooh, exotic orchard. This card is cool. Not great, I think, but cool. You know whether to water them or polish them. Neat. Sure, neat. It's like this makes me wonder them than Blood and Treasure. Nah, it is quite beautiful though, isn't it? Rose Garrison, sure. Bouncy, gatey, bouncy, Fury. Yeah, we've seen this card before. Oh, the lockets. I remember these from guilds. They seem alright. They have these flavor texts before? Yeah, I guess so. Sure, yeah, that seems pretty good. That's useful. Sure. Sure, yeah, I remember this guy. Here, I was about to say, here's a new card, but no. It's just a card I don't remember. Untap it. Gains protection for the color of your choice until end of turn. Yeah, okay. This guy sees their enemies as puzzle to be solved. Don't we all? Puzzles to figure out how can I empathize with this person? How can I become friends with them? An aftermath spell. I'm sure there's at least one person who will buy this commander deck, having never seen an aftermath spell in their life before, and will pick this out of the pile and go, what the hell is going on? But yeah, this card is alright. Crackling Drake. Oh my god, a beater. In standard, it beat on people. It beat the living daylights out of them. Farm! Farm to market. I'm like, okay, because, you know, they're always so cute the way they come up with these phrases broken down into two halves for things like Aftermath or for the split cards. But it feels like they're losing out on a lot of card names that they could otherwise use. They can never print a card called Farm now that just does anything else under any other circumstance. Isn't that a shame? Don't you want to see some like crazy multi-format staple just called Farm, and it's like a land that like taps to just add 1 life and 1 mana or something ridiculous? Farm. It'll never happen. Increasing Vengeance. Ooh, okay, so they had done this before. I didn't remember this, but they had actually done it before where the flashback is stronger and more expensive. So again, very cool, and a cool combo with stuff like Past in Flames or Snapback Mage. Snapback Mage? What's it called? Snapcaster Mage? Snapback Mage. Yeah, okay, alright. Magma Quake. Sure, this effect we've seen a lot in various formats and stuff. Where will you run when I punish you with the very ground, you fleon? Peons? Hey, here's another one. Well, this is a little different. Is this in the same deck? Alright. Desperate Ravings, this card is cool. Hermione's quick gone, yet she spoke nothing but the truth. The flavor here, I think, is quite neat, too. That, like, the first time you loot, it's just impassionate. You're just speaking for the sake of speaking. But then later, when you kind of return to those thoughts, it's with Blue's clarity. Blue's more refined pursuit of truth. Sure. Yeah, this is alright. I feel like this was played in Standard. It's just good utility. Gutter Snipe, this is definitely played in Standard. Maybe even Modern somewhere. Sure. Bloodthirsty Blade. Oh, we've seen this like once before, this goaded keyword. It's kind of odd that they keyworded it, just to use it so infrequently. Unless they're kind of lining it up to actually become like an evergreen thing. But yeah, it's kind of a useful effect to have keyworded. It's something that leads to interesting situations and is kind of like a nice pseudo removal. Yeah, okay, yeah, I figured it would have something like this. So wait a minute. Whoa, wait a minute. This is the first equipment probably ever, unless there's some crazy one I'm not thinking of, that doesn't have a normal equip cost. You actually can't equip this to your own creatures even if you wanted to. What the heck? Alright, sure. That's quite interesting. Gith, Lord of the Vault. It's the reprint. Yep. Yeah, that's alright. Ray of Distortion. Sure. Sure, it's just a flashback, blow up a thing. It's so expensive. You compare this to Ancient Grunge. It's like, okay, well, this can hit enchantments too, and it's only one color, but like, come on. Enough with the excuses. This is not Ancient Grunge. Sudden Titan, classic. We saw something else that was like Pseudo Sun Titan, remember? It did a similar thing at instant speed. But yeah, big Sun Boy. Big beats, big value, and then sometimes just an infinite combo, because why not? Sure, this is like one of the most expensive and least effective ways I've ever seen of emptying a graveyard, but sure. Pristine Angel, neat. Probably this is a mythic. It was, well, I guess mythics weren't around back then. I guess this is pretty good. I don't know. Dusk to Dawn. This is the first Aftermath spell I saw, and I remember thinking, this is like a very ugly design. I kind of came around on it. I just wish the art was like bigger, and the fact that the art is like 2 different aspect ratios kind of bugs me. Especially ones like this where it's kind of depicting the same scene. It really throws it for me, but whatever, sure. Increasing Devotion. Yeah, okay. Now, you know what? I do remember these now. The Increasing Cycle. Yeah, that's right. They did have a few of these. So yeah, it's not a new idea, but whatever. Divine Reckoning, sure. Song of the World Soul. Whenever you cast a spell, populate. Ooh, so this will be an easy way to get your crazy Eldrazi statue online. Which seems like quite a weird flavor mashup combo, because this is like some beautiful thing singing out from Ravnica, spreading the populace, and then the Eldrazi, of course, are just like crush, kill, destroy. But this is nice. I really like the flavor text. It's a very exciting enchantment. I don't think it's good. It's so expensive. You need so many other things. You need a creature token. You need to cast the spell. Then you just get another creature token for all your trouble after casting a 6 mana enchantment. Think twice. If I gotta think twice, I won't think at all. That's a rap lyric. I can't remember where it's from. Sure. Sure, I remember this guy. This guy's actually pretty strong. I think it saw a lot of standard play. Just keep Drake popping out. Even if he's got to release something like Care Package, just keep the Drake coming. Uses Sanctum. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Seems like it could be alright. But only alright. This, I think, is part of something. No, maybe not. No, I think I'm getting it confused with something else. But it's a neat card. Fervent Denial. Sure. Just flashback counter. It's got to be expensive. Thoth. Everybody loves Thoth. One of the coolest cards ever printed. Just every single time, like, something exciting is going to happen. I prefer this art, though, with Squee and Hannah just, like, rifling through papers, trying to figure out what the heck is going on. That's just so classic. Here, Jace is like, I'm doing a Jace thing. And it's so on the nose. I'm picking these 2. I don't need these 3, foolish opponent. Whereas here, it's just like, what the fuck? Like, what are we going to do? It looks more like Fact or Fiction has been cast against them than they're casting Facts or Fiction. And they're like looking through your cards being like, I don't know, this doesn't seem so good. But because it doesn't seem so good, there must be some crazy reason it's even in the deck in the first place. So we can't give it to them without, you know, blah, 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 blah. Oh, here's another classic. Deep Anal Lysis. Specifically appears it seems to be broken. A cute little joke. Because, of course, they're looking at Masticore, which at the time was considered a broken creature, if you can believe it. I don't think Nicol Bolas has ever been broken in his life, but whatever. Maybe Nicol Bolas is looking at something? What is this? Is this a broken thing? Is that like an Acromebia? Anyways, yeah, this card is sweet. It's so much stronger than it looks. Chemist's Insight. This card is as well. Stronger than it looks. I didn't think this card was a big deal, but I think it got quite a decent amount of standard play. Ooh, the big dino. Okay, we gotta find it. We gotta find it. Please, please. Yes! Yes! Oh, good, it's the animated one. Yes! 1-800, are you flapping? Flap, double slap. No napping. Scrapping. Unflappable. The sky goes scraw, and the earth goes, holy shit. I can't even begin to tell you why this is so funny to me. It's in a long tradition of such shit posts. But yeah, it's this guy. So you can see how all the keywords match up. Unflappable. No napping. It's so great. Vigilance is no napping. Alright, yeah, this card's fine. It's like Sarah, it's like a Chroma Angel of Wrath, but it's just some huge ass dinosaur. Sure. Yeah, this card is cool. Sure. Ooh, a new Hellion. Whenever it attacks, each player who controls the most lands sacrifices 2 lands. Hey, that's not bad. An 8 power haste for a 7-drop? I think in Commander, this is a card that everybody's gonna get ready to hate. It can't hit you, though. If you have the most lands, you have to sack them. So that's kind of interesting. Hellions measure their meals and mends. I like it. I like everything about it. The art is really cool, too. It's not strong, but whatever. Not everything has to be strong. The way I act, sometimes I worry that people think I only care about strong cards. But no, I just like interesting cards. But a strong card is almost inherently interesting, just because you think of how its strength will apply to a format. So I guess I can say that I always like strong cards, but then only sometimes do I like weak cards. Anyways. Attacking creatures you control have Death Touch. Creature you control. Ooh, now that's fun. Look at this little synergy. Do you want to block and die? Or do you want us to draw cards? And these are both very snaky things. The OG draw and hit card was a snake. Ophi or whatever. Ophila. And then also snakes often get Death Touch. So kind of 2 cool ideas stuck together. It's a snow creature for some reason, even though I haven't seen any other snow support in this entire set. I guess ever since they like relaunched snow with Modern Horizons, they're going to be like just kind of tossing a little snow in here and there. So that's kind of fun. Yeah, all right, I like it. Voice of Many. Whenever there's a battlefield, draw a card for each opponent who controls fewer creatures than you. Oh, well, that's fun. Again, really only interesting in multiplayer, but a good way to just rub it in their face. Hey, where's your board state? Where's your board state? Hey, how about you? Where's your board state? I guess I'll draw. Yeah, all right, fun. Hour of Reckoning. Is this new art? Yeah, I think I would remember art that looks like that. Sure. Fun. I like that your creatures are just like gonna help kill everything. But it's destroy all non-token creatures. So there's a deck to be made here. You can build around this. Sure. Fun. Good populate generator. It's kind of awkward that like creature cards in your graveyard inherently aren't tokens because they're in their graveyard. But then you need some creature tokens. Oh, but it's from a graveyard. Oh, okay. Alright, then that's cool. Mass Diminish. Sure. Hey, that's like pretty good. This is like a nice... Ah, sorcery speed though. I was gonna say, this is like a nice pseudo fog in blue. But sorcery speed really makes it a lot worse. Still though, this can turn the tides quite quickly. Alright. Marasi, Breaker of the Coil. This can't cast spells during combat. Creature control deals combat damage to a player. Go to each creature that player controls. So this has some nice synergy. You know that they're going to attack. You know that they can't have combat tricks. The combat math is right as it's written on the board. So you can make some very major tactical advantages here. So that's kind of neat. All right, and stats are strong. Sure. Rock Egg. Oh yeah, we've seen this before. This goes back to a design they've been trying since the earliest days of Magic, and have sometimes really screwed up. Like, you just discard it from your hand and then you get a dragon or whatever. Populate X times. Wow! Oh no, that's fun. So simple. To just pay 3 mana to populate once isn't the worst. In some situations, that can lead to, like, gigantic-ass plays. But then in other situations, you can just develop an entire army off one play in the late game. Yeah, alright. Ah, a swirl of light, a whisper through the leaves, and all at once the forest came to life. I love it. I love it. Very cool card. Alta Palani Nest Tender. Shaman. Create an egg. Whenever an egg dies. Woo! Woo! Ooh, I love it. I love it. Crazy card. Crazy, crazy card. A little slow, you know, because it's summoning sick. It can't make an egg immediately. But once she starts laying, oh, baby. You got to build your whole deck around this, of course. This is your commander, so it's not going to like hit other copies of itself. We're totally talking commander land for a combo this bad. But, you know, you get your eggs out, you get your sack outlets, and then you start... Oh, guess what's in this egg? Emrakul. What's in this egg? Woodfall Primus. Really? What's in this egg? Another version of Emrakul. Oh, baby. Doesn't that sound fun? That sounds like a lot of fun to me. I honestly think, like, if I was going to build a commander deck, it might be this person. That just sounds like such a blast. Growing ranks. Maybe upkeep populate. Yeah, I remember this card. Good populate enabler. Good enabler of that statue. So I guess this is all the same deck. Because you can populate your eggs too, which is really neat. And then I guess it's more in line than I thought that other aspects of this deck hint at Eldrazi, because there's nothing better to have pop out of that egg than an Eldrazi Titan. Tengrath First Mate. Sure. Oh, okay. Alright, cool. So if he's attacking, your opponent is attacking someone, you can have this guy come and attack, and then he's attacking that person too. So you would never do it if you're the one being attacked. But it's like kind of a mercenary that you can lend out to people to support their causes, so long as those causes aren't against you. Neat. Fun political card. I wish it had like more of an exciting effect while it's attacking, not just damage. Like it has a good evasive ability, so it's kind of like removal, but it's not super exciting. Anyways, sure. Manager's Insignia. Oh, now that's fun. That's fun. This is another kind of design space area that I guess they're playing with. Rewarding you for casting your commander over and over again. Maybe there's a few cards that do this already, I can't remember. Yeah, alright. Yeah. Good flavor. Angel of Sanctions. This card actually saw some play, I'm pretty sure. I think in Standard, this was a pretty big deal. It's just very efficient. And then you get to embalm it, do the same thing. Ooh, and Trotsani. Oh, it's a reprint Trotsani. I really like Trotsani. Just flavorfully, I think it's such a cool idea. This one dryad made of like multiple things that allows them to have this kind of like balanced viewpoint on how Selesnya should be developed. And then they had Trotsani Discordant, you know? And it was just like, ooh, it's arguing with itself. Ooh, that's so cool. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, we've seen this card before. Lightning Greaves, everybody's seen this card before. A million billion times. Maybe you've never seen this one because it's $114, but yeah, this is quite the card. Doomed Artisan. Sculptures you control can attack or block. Create a colorless sculpture artifact token with this. Oh, now that's so cool! Once he dies, all of the sculptures come to life and can fight. But until then, until you actually get rid of the artisan, they're just sculptures. So it's like you want to keep them around as long as possible to get a big sculpture army where each sculpture is very strong. But then at the same time, you gotta get rid of them at some point. Ooh, I love it! I love it! Such a cool design. So flavorful. The art is super cool. Flavor text is cool. The gameplay it generates, the decision making you have to make. I love it. I love it. I wish it was a little stronger. I don't know. I don't know how to make it stronger without kind of taking away what's interesting about it. Like, I think this is as cheap as it could be to have this effect. I don't know. Yeah, this card is sweet. Cliffside Rescuer. Yeah, alright, sure. Action from each opponent. That's pretty strong. Following the third path. I remember this guy. This is a very sad card. Very beautiful, touching card. Sure. Garruk Primal Hunter is one of the stronger Garruks, I think. People really like this one. Gets you beasts, gets you cards, and you crush them with worms. Sure, damage land. Sure, lifeland. The duality of land. A land of contrasts. When it's ocean, you get hurt. When it's ice, you gain life. Does that make sense? I don't know. When it's stream, you get neither. Metamorphic Expanse, of course, classic. Yeah, this card's pretty sweet too. A late game land. You don't really see too many of those because imagine how frustrating this is if you're like, I kept a 2-lander, better draw lands. Sure. Sure, Bouncy Boy. I see this one in Pauper a lot, like specifically these colors. Ah, yes. Oh, this card is so cool. We already talked about, yeah, this just explains it right here. God's known to the Merfolk as Ula, Emera, and Cozy were nothing more than the false memories of a monstrous trinity, the Eldrazi Titans, Ulamog, Emrakul, and Kozilek. Ooh! Isn't that cool? I just think that's so cool. It's just such awesome story writing. Sure, 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 sure. Lots of lands. Sure, 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 sure. Sure, sure, sure. Oh, here we go. This card's cool. This card you actually see decently often in some formats. Because it's not often the land gets to do something like this. It's like always a threat. Sure. And then we saw this. We saw this. I think? I don't remember seeing this though. But I'm pretty sure we saw these. I'm like almost certain that we saw Thran Dynamo at least. Sure, sure. Ah, did we see these? I kind of feel like we saw this too. I don't know. Like, I remember these cards, just because they're reprints. So, I don't know if it's... whatever. Shit. I guess we'll keep going until we see a new card. Like, I feel like, no, we didn't look at these before. Because, like, I would have talked about this card a bit. I think this card is really cool. It's not super strong, but it's just so flavorful, and the art is beautiful, and it's just this kind of, like, things that kind of generate cycles in behind everything else you're doing in Magic, I think are really, really cool. Yeah, see, like, I don't really remember this card at all. This card's cool. Sure. I like that Hermits generate a lot of little guys. That seems to be, like, a flavorful trend. Overwhelming Stampede. Yeah, that's pretty good. That'll probably win you the game. At least it should. Explorer, Classic. Cultivate, Classic. This guy, not so classic, but whatever. Sure, this seems pretty good. Salinger Assassin. Yeah, alright. That could be really useful. Grim Haruspex. Sure. Hex? Ah, a classic. Such a stupid card. So the opponent has to have... Either you have to have 0 creatures, or they have to have at least 6, or else you're going to end up killing your own dudes. Actually, there has to be 6 total. You know? Like, you can't cast a spell unless you have 6 targets. It's so stupid. I love it. Ghastly Conscription. Sure, okay. Yeah, that's pretty neat. You can flip them up, but you have to pay the exact mana cost. It's not the CMC. So you likely can't flip them up unless you're playing the same colors, but whatever. Sure. 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 Can't remember this guy from cons. Sure, this card's actually really strong. You see this in a lot of things, because the trick is that if you bounce tokens, they just die. And often many, many tokens will have the same name. So this is like super secret tech against Empty to Warrens and things like that. Sure. Sure, okay, sure, yeah. It's cool. Maro hates it. It touches exile, but it's neat. Sure. This feels like it could actually be part of a pretty crazy engine, but I suppose not. Sure. That's quite exciting. A lot of Pegasus. Since when are Pegasus just 1/1? You look at that muscular horse flying through the air, and it just tramples right into you and you take 1 damage for real. This is I love this. When you hear thunder on a cloudless day. Ah, that's cool. Faithless Looting. The plague of Modern right now. It looks like they're reprinting it with this pretty uncommon art, which is neat. People are getting tired of looking at this one. In every single game of Modern they play. Ah, here we go. I knew there would be new cards eventually. Elsha of the Infinite. Prowess, of course. I mean, to look at the top card of your library anytime. Cast the top of the library if it's a non-creature, non-land card, and you may cast it just so it have flash. Yeah, okay. Not the craziest thing. Stats aren't super great, but prowess helps a lot. This is like, I guess, probably something I could underestimate. But normally it's like you can cast it no matter what. Whereas here it's only instants and so oh no, you get enchantments and artifacts and stuff too. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's neat to see more of these Jinn that are just like kind of people from Tarkir. I always thought that was like a neat species design. Ah, okay. Now I think we're caught up. I'm pretty sure we saw this before. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, we're caught up. All right. Another marathon card looking at session. I quite enjoy making these videos. I know very, very few people watch them, but I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it. I know my evaluations are nothing compared to that of a pro, but sometimes I make a little insight that I feel kind of proud of, and then sometimes predictions I make come to pass, so that's nice. Let me know, is there something I can do to improve the format of these videos? Like, is there something that you wish I would talk about that I don't? Is there like contextual information you wish that I would provide that I don't? I'm not really sure like what level of Magic player I should aim these at. Again, I'm probably speaking to almost literally no one, but yeah, let me know any feedback you have. Just know that the feedback I won't accept is like, these are a waste of time, don't do them, because I'm going to do them. All right, bye-bye.